Production. What's up, sports fans? Welcome to our conversation. Welcome to an episode, a little bonus episode, if you will, of the Cinnamon Movie Podcast presents King and Queen of the Ring. I'm one of your hosts, Juan. I'm joined by Jay. What's up, Jay?
How's it going, guys? What's going on out there in podcast land?
Podcast land, man. You know what? I almost feel like I could do this like every day. Let me have a different conversation, different subject every day. I'm already doing this 3 times a week. Why not bump it up to 5? You know?
Why not? I get a little nervous talking, even though you can't see me. I'm still getting nervous. It's been 3 months since I've joined you guys, and I still get nervous. So,
should be fun, man. I wanted to talk King of the Ring last week.
King and Queen of the Ring.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta continue. I gotta keep that in mind. I wanted to talk about this show before it went live. Just life happened, didn't get around to doing it. So why not just talk about the events and everything after? So that's what we're here to talk about. We're going to talk about the King and Queen of the Ring. It was a fun episode, man. It was a fun show. I enjoyed the entire almost 3.5 hour event. If you guys did not join us last week for any of the episodes, really, we talked. Me and Craig really talked about the NCAA football game 2 weeks ago, and then last week on the movie podcast, we talked all about
What's Now?
Yeah.
A Vietnam War movie starring Marlon Brando and Martin Sheen.
Apocalypse Now. It was a fun conversation, even though the movie really did feel like homework.
It did.
But today, like I said, we're talking King and Queen of the Ring. This was one of their PLEs live in Saudi Arabia, in a sold out Jeddah Superdome, a little over 40,000 people. We talked about this before we went on air, Jay. Like, you know, some of those Saudi Arabia shows feel almost like a golf show, real quiet. They're probably told
a Japanese show in a way.
Yeah, they're almost told. It almost feels like they're told, "Hey, you got to be quiet." But this one, like you said,
this was a very raucous crowd. This crowd was amped.
And you know what? I think you have to look back at Backlash and the France crowd. That France crowd stepped it up. Like they set a bar, and it's almost like, man, you guys need to just go out there and have fun, yell at whoever you want, sing whatever you want, and it makes the show like 10 times better. So, but I mean, and a lot of the Saudi Arabia shows in the past, they
Hold on. My Wi-Fi's cutting out.
Okay. Well, why you get your Wi-Fi set up? I'll just bring up the fact that like the past Saudi Arabia shows have like almost been like live house shows on a grander spectacle. Some of the matches not even dealing with storylines or big events going on. But the last few years,
I'm sorry, my Wi-Fi went out a little bit.
No, you're good. The last few years, these Saudi Arabia shows have really kicked it up a notch. And this year, the King of the Ring coming back, they're trying to make it feel, 10 times bigger, 10 times more grand than it has in the past. The past 10 years, man, they've made the King of the Ring just almost like.
See, I still miss the format where they would have all the matches in one night.
Yeah, but even though going back and looking at some of the past King of the Rings, there's some King of the Ring events where only the semifinals happened, and then there's some matches where all the quarterfinal matches happened, all the semifinal matches happened. So this year they didn't do that. They just made it to where the event has just the finals.
But I missed the past where they would have the entire King of the Ring tournament that night, and it really was who is King of the Ring, who can outlast. Because that's what made me believe that. That's what King of the Ring was all about, was who could do it all in one night, like the way Bret Hart won it in 93.
Yeah.
The way Owen Hart won it in 94. They all wrestled their matches all in one night.
It's like the bigger the King
because to me, it's always like, to me, I always thought it was an endurance contest as well.
Yeah. You can look at it that way. That's true. I had, while you were fixing your Wi-Fi or moving around, I had said that the last 10 years, the King of the Ring had just been completely like almost meaningless, making the finals on a SmackDown or making the finals maybe at a different PLE. To me, I really feel like the last King of the Ring that mattered was maybe either King Barrett or King Booker. Those are probably the last two
The
King of the
last one to
Ring.
me that King Book. I was about to say the last one that really mattered to me was King Booker.
Yeah. Um, but let's get
But
ready.
before we get into the King and Queen of the Ring, can we talk that we got TNA women's champ Jordana Grace is supposed to wrestle Roxana Perez at the NXT pay per view, and
Oh yeah.
Ethan Page made his debut to attack Trick Williams.
Yep.
Sorry to jump ahead like that, but
No, you're good. I
I
saw
don't
that.
feel that we'd be able to talk to it about that.
That'll be June 9th, Sunday, NXT Battleground. And
Isn't that at the UFC arena?
yeah, that'll be at the UFC complex in Las Vegas. I think that'll be pretty interesting. I did see though that Ethan Page isn't under contract with anybody. He's just kind of freeballing right now, and
That,
it's interesting to see. I love what they're doing with this. So, um, before we get into the King of the Ring results, do you see anybody from like the main roster going to TNA for like a show or two?
if they send anybody, it'll be NXT guys. That's my opinion. Since they're working with NXT, I think they would be NXT guys like Trick Williams to go over and do a match with somebody, their champion or whatever. Like
So
we're getting with
before we dig into the King of the Ring, I have to mention this because it's kind of being talked about. Have you been keeping up with SmackDown?
I here and there, but I'll see if I know what you're talking about.
What do you think is going to go on with AJ Styles and Nick Aldis? AJ Styles is talking about how he deserves one more shot. Do you think it's leading into something bigger than what it is, or do you think it's just maybe a Money in the Bank qualifying match? Because AJ Styles is, he's going around SmackDown saying he doesn't have much time left. He wants to be world
Oh,
champion one
AJ,
time. Yeah, and then
yeah,
it almost looks like they're
I,
setting something up with Nick Aldis, or if it just looks like I don't know. It could just be nothing. Maybe I'm just not looking into it that good.
I just think that he's going to Nick Aldis, trying to plead his case, like give me one more chance, coach. That type of situation.
You think it'll just lead into a Money in the Bank qualifying match?
That's possible.
So,
Well, because AJ's had so many shots here recently, they're gonna, like you said, you're at the back of the line, bro. You got to start over.
man, that match was so good. We talked we talked the weekend before, but I don't think anybody thought that match. I knew that match was going to be good, but I don't think anybody thought that match would be like that.
If I'm not mistaken, Dave Meltzer gave it 5 stars. He actually really liked it. That was the
Yeah,
first, and the crowd was just beyond phenomenal, man.
that was the first match that wasn't in a Tokyo Dome without the Bucks that he gave a 5-star match. But let's talk about it. King of the Ring took place May 25th, 2024, in front of a sold-out Jeddah Superdome in Saudi Arabia. The first match, pre-show, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, reigning defending tag team champions, defeated Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. No surprise here, pinfall. The match went for 8 minutes and 5 seconds.
Their
Would you,
finisher was gorgeous. I love their new finisher. If that's what they're going to do for a finisher, they need to keep it. It's like a code breaker and then into a suplex. They seem to gel a little bit better, but Jade you can still tell the Jade green just by
oh
the
yeah.
promo that they had later on in the show.
And I think it's a brilliant idea to put her in a tag team with Bianca Belair. That way, just everything isn't on Jade. She can learn a lot. She can, tag in and out. I think this is just a brilliant move on their part. They could do like they did back in the day with somebody who maybe wasn't ready and just shove them all in there and just let them fail and make them look bad.
The days of them people failing, that's why there's NXT now. The days of failing, that's where they fell at is there.
But it wasn't that long of a match. It was a pretty quick, good tag team title match for the women's tag team championships. I
I do
think that
like what they're doing with Candice LeRae, though. Her being mean, the mean girl, and then Indy Hartwell finally coming around to her side, because there for a while, Indy Hartwell was like, "What are you doing? Why are you being such a bitch?" And Candace was like, "What are you talking about? I'm being perfectly fine." But go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that that's a tag team in Candice LeRae that they can finally like maybe just keep building up, and maybe one day they can like dethrone or hold those tag team belts. The women's tag team championships have kind of had like a little black eye. You know, after almost after Sasha Banks and Naomi just left, up until probably maybe
I'd say the
even
Kabuki of the Warriors.
yeah, even when Chelsea Green and Piper Nivens had it, they did a pretty good job with it. But I like to see that the women's tag team championships are finally starting to matter again, if that makes sense.
It does, but there's also on NXT Tuesday night they introduced the women's North American Championship. So I was like, oh shit, are we starting to get too many women's titles now?
I don't think so. I think you're just starting to get too many really good women in the division. I think, and especially since now that they're letting them have those 15, 20 minute matches, why not put a mid card belt for them to go and chase and go after?
Here's another change for the Saudi shows. We went from having 0 women matches to there were 3 women's matches on this card.
Yep. And they were actually
And
good matches. It wasn't just a 90-second or a 3 minute match.
exactly.
So
So we have the Jade Cargill and all that match is perfectly fine to get you ready for the pay-per-view. It set up everything nicely. Good little decent match. I enjoyed it. I'll give it 3 stars out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Yeah.
I'll give the pre-show match 2 stars. Um, yeah, I thought it was pretty decent. Um, what'd you think of the after the pre-show? You had the pre-show panel too, which was kind of entertaining. Big E, Wade Barrett, Kevin Owens, Kayla Braxton. Um, I like what they're doing with Big E. Obviously, he can't be in there, but I like how they're kind of. It's almost like they're just letting them do like a free for all. Like they were talking about Chad Gable, how he snapped and got mean, and Big E was like, "If you put long shorts on me and called me Shorty G, I'd snap too." But I like how they're just letting them kind of free ball. What do you think about the pre-show? Do you ever watch any of that stuff?
I didn't. I didn't this one. I fast forwarded, seeing that there was a pre-show match because I got into it late. I slept late that day, and I woke up like, oh shit, it's on, and I rewind it back, and I realized when I was rewinding it back that there was a pre-show match, and I was like, okay, there we go. That's where I'll start. So
And so the show kicked off. Really good opening. Big pyro. They want like they wanted this to feel like it was a really big show, and it was. And first match to kick off the actual PLE was Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch for the Women's World Championship. They went 16:25, 16 minutes, 25
that's so long.
seconds.
It didn't feel it.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, I agree. It didn't feel it to me. Um, Liv Morgan, she gets the strap, man. She beats Becky Lynch by pinfall, and she walks away women's world champion with a little bit of a sly help, but mistakenly, supposedly, with Dominic.
See, that's the key word. The, mistakenly, right there, it's a possibility that they're in cahoots. They could just.
I think we'll get an eventual double cross. I think it'll be like a Trish Stratus Christian kind of thing. So I think eventually Dominic will show that he's been trying to help Liv all along. What do you think?
I agree. I think that's where they're possibly heading, or because Liv said that she's going to take everything Rhea had, that meant her belt, and that could even mean Dominique as well. Because at the end of Monday Night Raw the following night, after she won the steel cage match against Becky, she made out with Dominic, but he pushed her away like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
And she just licked her lips and smiled at him like, "Yeah, gotcha." But I enjoyed the match was very back and forth. They made Liv seem like a very competent competitor, which sometimes you can't do because Liv, to me, she has a believability factor. She's too cute, too dainty sometimes to be taken seriously. When she beat Ronda Rousey with the Money in Bank, I
Hmm.
was like, really? I was like, really? That's who they're gonna catch? Uh huh. Yeah, yeah. Ronda Rousey's gonna lose to her, or whatever. But they did.
And but that shows you, man. Like it goes all the way back. And when she said in her promo this past Monday, or or at the King of the Ring, that she's been with the company for 10 years, I had to sit there and think, like, man, she has been there 10 years. And it's like, women nowadays in the WWE don't just get 10-year runs without by mistake anymore. Really. And she even had that issue where she got pulled over for marijuana like a few years ago,
No one even a few years ago. It was
last year.
yeah. Well, she was injured with her shoulder injury.
Yeah. Um,
But
where do
it's
you?
not. It's the marijuana thing today is not like it used to be. Back in the
Yeah.
day. So they caught her with some weed. Whoopie doo.
Yeah, it's not like the whole RVD thing right after he won the WWE Championship.
Yeah, it's like,
Uh,
yep, we got to strip you of the title, big boy.
Um, if Rhea didn't get hurt at Mania, because I really do think she got hurt at Mania. Do you think she loses at King of the Ring, or where do you think this whole Liv Rhea thing would have went?
I don't think. I think that the attack was. I don't think the injury is real at all, in my
You know?
opinion. I think it's a work. I think it's a work, and was a way about a roundabout way to get her off TV so she can have some time alone. I heard here she's planning a wedding and
Um,
this and that. So I that's my personal opinion. I think it was a work. I think that she's just
and
taking some time off to
and
recuperate.
and you get the belt off of her without anybody really beating her.
Exactly. You get an injury angle,
Yeah.
and you further along the Liv storyline of Liv's revenge to her. So
So we're not
and
really
then
going to talk about the Monday Night Raw after with the whole cage match and all, but so
that was before we can't. I actually want to talk about a couple seconds. How they set it up in the beginning of the show with Braun Strowman being pissed at JD McDonough and everything, and him chasing him throughout the entire show, and they finally caught up with him. And when did he catch up with him? Right when Dominique was in front of the cage, and he pushes Dominique into the cage door. It slams in Becky's face. That was beautiful storytelling. That was like a beginning to end. You know what I mean? It just
yeah.
felt very cool.
So before we rate the women's world title match, you think Becky will re-sign with WWE?
I think she's going to take some time off, but I think she will. Her and Seth, I think they're lifelong WWE people. WWE gives them too much.
So that being said, I think she'll re-sign too. I think too many people out there are playing with the whole factor that she might go to AEW. I think she's using that to her advantage. That way she can sign the biggest contract in women's history. Why not
She
play
get
with
that
it?
Charlotte Flair money.
Yeah, why not play with it? Um, but women's world title match, I think I'm gonna give this a 3.5.
I'll agree with you there. 3.5 for me as well.
Um, Next match on the card, you got Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, and Bronson Reed triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn defeats and pins Bronson Reed 13 minutes 40 seconds. Uh, this is Sami Zayn's technically it's his second championship defense after beating Gunther. Man, I gotta say, I honestly think Gunther had that Intercontinental Championship up so high and so good that does it feel like it kind of has taken a back seat
Uh,
just a little
yeah,
bit?
in this match, for one, Bronson Reed was in it. I'm still not sold on Bronson Reed. I really can't stand the dude. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about him. I've read some of his Twitter stuff like that, and it's just like, nah, bro, just shut up and wrestle. And I don't think he's that good of a big man. He looks like a big Easter. It looks like an egg out there with legs. He's like Otis, a big old egg with eight legs. And for one, I really didn't care too much for the match. Like
Same.
I like Sammy and all, but there was just two other people in the match that I really didn't give two shits for.
Yeah, I think this whole Chad Gable, Sami Zayn thing is going out too long. He already beat him like the second night, the week after WrestleMania. I'm not a Chad Gable fan. I think I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, they should put a microphone in and let him just be the next Kurt Angle." Like, no, there's not going to be the next Kurt Angle. I just don't think he's a good
He's
guy
too
to watch.
small.
He's a good guy to watch. He can work. He can get in there and just go with the best of them. But like, I don't think he's like the next big thing. Uh, I feel like
Nope.
it should have been a one on one between Sami Zayn and Chad Gable, and then just let Sammy go ahead and just finish it off, finish the storyline off, and move on to the next. There's
Well,
so
what they
many.
did on Monday Night Raw, they had a beatdown on Monday Night Raw. That thing was so unconvincing,
Yeah,
and the whole it was just a big waste of time on Chad Gable putting down Otis and the rest of the Alpha Academy, and then Sammy coming out making the save and trying to make Otis seem, come on, Otis, you're a good guy, and then it was just like, thank
yeah,
God I recorded this because I'm fast forwarding this shit. It's boring.
yeah. It's the whole Otis, and if Otis is going to feud with anybody, take Sami Zayn out of the equation, let him feud with Chad Gable, put it on a pre-show, call it a day, because I think Gunther made that Intercontinental Championship seem too important. Sami Zayn needs to go ahead and just,
He
you
needs
know,
more high profile people to go up against. And
yeah,
Bronson Reed and Chad Gable are not those high profile people.
I agree. That being said, the match did go on 13 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm going to give that match 2 stars.
I agree with you there. I'll give it two. I was going to give it a 1.5, but I'll give it a two. They worked pretty decently. It was an all right match. The crowd was what brought the match out for me.
Oh, yeah, because
They were really into Sammy.
yeah. Next up, man, you had Nia Jax representing SmackDown versus Lyra Valkyria representing Raw. Queen of the Ring finals. The match went 9 minutes 40 seconds. Nia Jax defeated Lyra in a 9-minute match that went by so fast because of how good and hard hitting it was. I really enjoyed this match.
I enjoyed this match as well. I'll say this though, but I've watched it twice now, and Lyra Valkyria, she gets like maybe a minute's worth of offense. The rest of the time she's on defense, trying to fucking get Nia Jax down, this and that, and Nia just annihilated her
Yeah.
basically. No pun
But
intended with the finisher, but
but
she
I
just
like the
annihilated.
way I like the way it's set up though. Like even though you talked about how she hardly had any defense, the few little offense she had, it felt like, oh boy, she could win this in just this little short amount of time.
In a way. But that finish though, bro, oh my god, Nia killed her. Nia Yokozuna her ass.
That was a good finish, man. I really enjoyed it though. Um, Also about that move that Lyra did right before that happened, where Nia Jax was caught up on the ropes
Uh-huh.
and Lyra came and like jumped up and springboard on top of her. That was pretty good too. Um, Really good. This is technically the second Queen of the Ring. The first, I believe, was
Zelina
Zelina.
Vega. The
2 years ago. I think Nia could really. T- is tonight going to be tonight's the first SmackDown or tomorrow's the first SmackDown after King of the Ring, right?
yes, correct.
So I think the coordination is
They're
for
supposed to,
her.
yeah,
I think
they're supposed to have a coronation.
she's really going to sell the whole Queen gimmick, and I think she's going to do a very good job on it. A lot of people put Nia down. I don't understand why. I
I
think now
do.
that well, I think now that Triple H has her, and ever since she's been back, to me, she's just been getting better and better as the months go on.
I think they've hidden what her faults are better. They haven't given her long, if the match was 9 minutes, and she's not equipped for a 15, 20 minute match.
Right,
She
but
just not, because she's too botchy, and to me, she's still not safe. Because that bump at that final, that finish, she just basically just fucking set on her. I don't know how much Nia Jax weighs, but Jesus, it was all that weight on top of her. Just boom, done. I'm like, holy shit, that was fucking nasty.
I think that's the perfect way to set her up, though. Like, she doesn't need 15, 20-minute matches. She doesn't have to go in there and shoot like a Kurt Angle or Bret Hart. Let her go in there, and let her just smash people.
Some
And
Brock Lesnar shit.
yeah, and she's still decent enough to where she can make it work. And I think she still has charisma. So
I do
unfortunately,
like how she now gets the title defense against Bailey.
I think she's going to beat Bailey at SummerSlam.
I don't know about that one.
I think for some reason, man, I think Bailey's title run is just already stale to me. And
It
maybe,
was it was still the night she won because they didn't build up Io Sky.
yeah. And I think it's just Nia Jackson waiting, and I think Nia will probably have a really decent, lengthy run.
Well,
But
Bailey had a match on SmackDown the night before in Jeddah. Who in the hell was it? I can't even remember who it was against. And she got her ass. It was Chelsea Green, and she
oh
got
yeah,
her ass handed to her in a way. Chelsea Green was the one on top, beating down Bailey, and Bailey was the one trying to come back. And I'm like, really? You're gonna really have her job out like that to Chelsea Green of all people? And then after that happened, Piper Niven beat the fuck out of her.
yeah.
And so yeah,
I like
I
I like
feel
I like Chelsea Green though.
I do too, but I don't think she's that good of a worker. She gets hurt too much.
Um, so yeah, sets up Nia Jax, Bailey,
And
Summer.
Bailey,
Yep. I like the match. I like the Queen of the Ring finals. I think I'm going to give this a 3.
I'll give it a 3 as well.
So, um,
That ending though, I'm gonna give that ending a 5 though. That ending was slick.
good ending. And I do like the way Triple H was in the ring. You can tell like it was a real personal moment between the two. What'd you think of that?
I agree that them hugging and shirt, she had tears in her eyes, and then Kayla Braxton comes and interviews her, and she's like, "Look here, I don't want, no, screw
Yeah.
you."
Yeah.
And
um.
that right back the hill she went.
Yep. Which was good. She's good at it. I never liked her as a face.
I didn't
Um.
have it either.
Man, some most considered match of the night. King of the Ring men finals. Gunther representing Raw defeated and versus Randy Orton representing SmackDown. King of the Ring men's finals. They went 21 minutes 50 seconds. Gunther got the win on a. I don't know if it was supposed to be. I don't know if it was supposed to look like that or not, but
I
Gunther
don't think it
wins.
was.
Gunther wins. Kind of via like a roll up. Um, what man? This match was hard hitting. I really like this match a lot.
I liked how they told us a story basically because I just rewatched that match before we went on air, and a lot of it the first 10 minutes or so was them filling each other out, and then once Gunther started hitting those chops on Orton, he didn't know what the hell to do. Like Orton seemed lost. Like he's like, holy shit, this guy is really overpowering me,
Yeah.
and he he hurt him. Like this is I've never seen Randy Orton so vulnerable in a match because he goes for that RKO and misses, and his back goes out. And Gunther starts working on the backbreaker, body slams, and then his knee starts fucking with him, and it's just like I've never seen a Randy Orton match where he's this injured in a match.
You think that's just the brilliantness and the just the way he is as far as like selling everything, or do you think there's still really a little bit more to the injury than he lets on to believe?
I don't know. I just think that they wanted to make Gunther look fucking mean as shit out there. They wanted to give he's just like this. He can just sit there and focus on an injury, and he can pick you apart, no matter if it's your leg or your back. He got you because whenever he finally started working over the leg and the back, he put that half Boston Crab on and worked that half Boston Crab on Orton,
I
and Orton seemed like he was in trouble. I was like, is Orton gonna really tap possibly?
when when Gunther's in the ring when he's wrestling, it really feels like you're watching a match from the '90s. He's just if whether it's like a Bret Hart match, Chris Benoit match, he just is. He's technical. He's sound. He's vicious. And when he says that he
It
wants,
feels real.
yeah, when he says in his promos that he wants to uh, represent this sport in like a good way, like he takes it serious, I really believe him. Like he really does take this sport serious, and he wants to put it on the map.
what makes me laugh, I know this is hearsay though, that before he joined the main NXT roster because he was doing NXT UK, was that he didn't want to travel and do the entire circuit, like, be on Raw or SmackDown. He didn't want to do none of that stuff. He just wanted to stick to the UK stuff, maybe a
Yeah,
little NXT stuff. But I don't know what crawled up his ass where he changed his mind, but thank God he did, because that man,
I heard the same story, and I heard they took him and Keith Lee in the room and said that you guys have to lose a little bit of weight and get really, really like in better shape and technical. And one took it serious and the other one didn't. And now you see where Keith Lee is.
well, Keith Lee will probably blame it on COVID. That's what I've heard. He got COVID. So
You know,
you
but
just
Gunther, yeah, yeah, Gunther took advantage of it. He lost the weight he needed to, and I think he earned the right now to challenge the world champion at SummerSlam. I think there's going to be a curveball in there. It looks like they're setting it up for him and McIntyre, or him and Priest, or him and whoever on Raw. I don't think it's going to be that way. I really have a feeling he's going to find a way to go challenge Cody at SummerSlam. I think.
I don't think that'll happen. They've already pretty much set it up to where he's gonna automatically face McIntyre or Priest. They've already, because the way they just kept promoting it on Monday night was that's how it's gonna go. Because of the whole draft, there's no crossovers.
Uh, Either way,
That's,
do you see him winning the title at SummerSlam?
I'd like to see him win it at SummerSlam because he deserves it. Like they were saying at the pay per view or PLE, is that he held a title. He's held titles for 1,500 days in the company. He held the UK title for like 800 and some odd days, and then the Intercontinental for 666 days. And the man's just a born champion. And the man just seems like he has the demeanor and the composure to go out there and
And
do like WWE wants,
yeah,
go do interviews and this and that.
and I love that he's like from another country. I love that. I love the whole, and he's not. I don't want to use this word in that kind of way, but I like the whole Nazi feel of him. Like they're making him seem just like one of those assholes. I like the music. I like the setup. I don't really think he needs another member in Imperium. I like him and Kaiser. I don't think they need somebody else, but man, I really do.
Giovanni Giovanni was a waste.
Yeah, I really do feel like Gunther can just be that heel that WWE needs for like the next 10 years.
No, oh yeah, I agree with it. To me, he reminds me a lot of Triple H in a weird way. I don't know why he reminds me of Triple H. I guess he's a student. I guess just because they say he's part of he's a student of the game. I'm like, oh, the game. I know where that came.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
man could sell his ass off.
oh yeah, and he can work with anybody.
Oh yeah,
I really like the match. To me, this was my favorite match of the night. I'm giving this 4.5 stars.
I'm gonna give it a 4.4 just because of the botch ending.
And which was it was weird about it though. Triple H came out and said they're gonna do like a rematch or Orton deserves another shot. But then the next night on Raw, they were like, they ended up
The
going back on
referees,
the which I like. It makes it feel like more of a sport. That's what happens in sports. There's referee mess ups.
there's bad calls.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I like how you can make a botch almost just seem like a referee fuck up nowadays because it is a sport. So,
Well,
uh,
it almost reminded me of the Becky Lynch Ronda Rousey botch that they had at WrestleMania. Whenever
oh yeah,
because that's how Becky won, because her shoulders were clearly up. It was so that's what it reminded me of. I was like, oh shit, they fucked that one up again.
yep.
Let's maybe not do that roll up again, guys, because you guys keep screwing it up.
Let's talk before we go on to the main event. Let's talk about the World Championship. What defended that night? Drew's injured, but he's now cleared. June 15th, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, World Championship,
Scotland.
Scotland. You see Drew winning the belt?
I don't, just because it's Damian
Seems too
Priest's
giving.
first title. It's his first title defense. I don't see him losing his first title defense.
Well, he beat Jay at Backlash.
That's right. That's right. Or his second, because well, I say that now that they won't give it to him, but they had Becky lose, and she just won the belt a month ago.
Well, there's also,
So,
I mean, there's different storylines that can come out of it too. If Judgment Day is crumbling, it could almost be like a Finn Balor accidentally cost him the belt. But then if CM Punk is there, what if CM Punk cost Drew McIntyre the match?
I can see
So
interference from both of them. Yes.
and then if I mean it's to me it's just I think the ending is going to be a complete shit show. But I think the payoff for Drew losing at Mania is Clash at the Castle. I think that's the payoff. And I think that's a champion you can have a heel champion for a while until you know, whenever you decide to give it to whoever after that. But I'm not enjoying Damian Priest's title run. I don't believe him as a world champion yet. And I think somehow he loses it and it sets up Finn Balor, Demon versus Damian Priest somewhere down the line.
Well, that's where I'm going to disagree with you. I agree with that. He doesn't seem like a world champion, but that's why they're going to keep the belt on him so they can grow him into a proper world champion. He's one of those guys that needs to be, like I said, he's only had one feud so far, and it was Jey Uso. Now, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk's feud don't need the title belt. It doesn't need that to be over, you know. But I can see it being Priest and Gunther at SummerSlam. Well, even if it's Drew McIntyre, here's another opportunity: three-way.
Yeah. But then if CM Punk is cleared, what do you do with him at SummerSlam? Because
Oh, I think he's still. I still
supposedly
think
he's
he's got
cleared.
some more time left. From what I understand, the type of injury he had would have taken about 9 months, 10 months to heal for him, because it was his rotator cuff or some shit like that.
And they're throwing everything. Monday Night Raw was kind of like a shuffle. It was kind of everywhere. You got Braun Strowman kind of being tossed in the mix. Finn Balor still somewhere lurking in there. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest. It's insane. It
Yeah,
almost could lead up. If I know this is weird, this is really spitballing because they have a pay per view named after it. But it feels like you could have an elimination chamber at SummerSlam. And I
that'd be
know they,
pretty cool. That'd be
you
pretty
know,
cool for Cody's belt. But
yeah.
they won't have an elimination. They won't have an elimination chamber because they have a pay per view named Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, which kind of it defeats the purpose. But I enjoy when those matches could pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah, we grew up in the era where a feud was settled in a elimination chamber. You know, those guys, they had the 6 guys, and all 6 guys had beef with each other.
Yep.
Now it's just, well, if they're qualified, such and such qualified, such and such
Yeah.
qualified for this. It's like there's no animosity.
Exactly. Yep. Main event time. Cody Rhodes defended the WWE Undisputed Championship against Logan Paul. They went 24 minutes and 20 seconds. Cody Rhodes defeated Logan Paul using the Crossroads, the 3 straight back to back to back. Man, this was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Logan Paul continues to impress me. He's athletic. He's a naturally heel. People just hate the shit out of him. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. What'd you think?
I'll go ahead and just say my star rating for this 4.5. And the reason why I give it a 4.5 is because, for one, the pacing of the match. You know, everybody knew that Cody was going to win. There was no ifs, ands, or buts.
I thought the
But
match
the way that
in like a disqualification or something.
But the way that they had them, I am getting tired of Cody doing his finisher multiple times to put someone down. It should be just one and done, but whatever. That's their call. But I like he did the vertebraker. That was cool. I like that 360 shot that they did with Logan Paul on the top rope, and then he jumped off.
Yeah.
Because I've read that WWE is wanting to work with new camera angles and techniques. So far, so good. I'm enjoying them.
Yep.
The match, they told a great story. was will he use brass knucks on Cody Rhodes, or will his titanium fist in his hand, the titanium in his hand, cause Cody? And it was a very Lex Luger story, but
It was good though.
and
I
there's these little things that Logan Paul does that guys that's been in it for 15, 20 years still don't do. Like, he'll hear something from the crowd and he'll look at it and he'll just acknowledge it, or
Yep.
he'll do a certain move a certain way that, like, that's talent. Because
Yeah.
I've always been the type of person that in a wrestling match, if you screw up a certain move, it tells a story that they didn't get enough of that move and everything like that. And he just gets it. I think he's a natural. Even if they give him all the time in the world to practice, whatever, practice makes perfect, and he's pretty damn good for just being a YouTube star.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man. I do like Logan Paul a lot, and it's fun to hear and to have a conversation with you, acknowledging how good he is. There's because that's all you see online, or that's all you hear other people talking, just like they shit on him, and I'm like, why? Because he's not like a wrestling fan, or he's not like he didn't come from the background that we want him to come back, come from. That's it's not a reason to hate a
And then
guy.
people bitch about, oh, he's wrestling Cody Rhodes now. He wrestled Roman Reigns for the title, and I'm just sitting there thinking, yeah, are there any other superstars that can move the needle like he can?
Yeah,
This man gets social media jumps every time he's mentioned. He
yeah,
did one spot with Ricochet, and it got like what 10 million views.
yeah,
That crossbody spot with Ricochet, and that was just with Ricochet.
yeah. What do you
And
think
here
of
he's working Cody Rhodes, and
what do you
boom,
think of
that's even
Ricochet?
more.
Ricochet's comments online a few days ago where they asked him about re-signing his contract or going elsewhere, and he was like, I'd rather job to Logan Paul in sold out arenas than go have a 5-star match that 20 people or 100 people are in the crowd for."
I did not hear that, but that is fucking ballsy as shit.
Yeah,
That already lets you know where he's staying.
yeah,
Because I seen Will Ospreay like, please come and wrestle for us so that way we can have good matches again. They're
yeah.
just holding you back, Ricochet. And I'm just they're not holding shit back. Ricochet gets to do his moveset.
Mhm.
It's just that Ricochet needs to work safer now.
Yeah. But yeah, he said that, and that kind of solidified, I think, him staying with the WWE. Um, for the simple fact that he gets to do it in front of sold out crowds all over the world. Um, I you already gave your star match. I like this match a lot. I'm gonna give it a 4.25. Um, I just like the Gunther match a little bit more. I'm really hot on Gunther right now. Um, this match also, like you said, Logan Paul doing some small things. Uh, him and Michael Cole having like a little stare down, and Corey Graves getting involved. Um,
You're having to step in and be like, hey, I'll
yeah,
defend Michael Cole if I have to. You need to
yeah.
back up, dude.
They're always throwing little Easter egg hints that something might happen between the two. With Corey Graves getting back in the ring and wanting to do things part time and also commentate, you see anything between Corey Graves and Logan Paul? You think they
I
maybe
could see
planted some seeds
I
there?
could see them if they continue working Michael Cole into it like they have been, and Logan Paul just goes viciously at Michael Cole,
It'd almost be like a
and
JR and King back in the day with Taz.
exactly where King gets up and is like, "I'll take your ass on if you keep talking shit about him,"
Yeah,
and that'll be exactly what happens. And Corey Graves will be like, "Look here, me and you, buddy. If you want to keep running your mouth, go
yeah.
right ahead."
I think they planted the seeds there, and I think you see LA Knight take the US title off of Logan Paul, maybe with some help from Corey Graves, and maybe that sets up Corey Graves with, one of his little part-time matches that he gets.
Speaking of LA Knight, that fucker was over big time in Saudi Arabia
Yeah, he
because he was
was.
he wrestled in that 6-man tag. It was him and the Street Profits versus Carmelo and who else? Come on,
Uh,
I can't recall, but it was a 6-man tag, and they just went fucking crazy. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Hear a Saudi Arabia crowd go off like that? That was crazy.
yeah. Overall, it was a really good event. I like the planting of the seeds, getting ready. Man, it's going to be a hell of a summer. You have Clash of the Castle June 15th.
And just about
Money,
2.5 weeks, right?
yep, Money in the Bank 4th of July weekend, and then the first 2 days of August. August 2nd, I believe you have SummerSlam.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
So yeah, what a summer for WWE and all these shows.
I used to hate SummerSlam growing up because it used to be the like Sunday nights, and the very next day when school would start, I'd be like, "Oh
Yep.
man, I can't wait for SummerSlam." But SummerSlam was like, "Damn it, we got to go back to school tomorrow."
Yeah. What do you think about SummerSlam being a 2-day event starting in 2 years, 2026?
It's I think it'll work beautifully. It'll be just like WrestleMania. The 2 night things have done wonders.
Yeah. I want to talk about this, then we can get ready to get out of here. But all the big pay-per-views, the big four, they treat them massively, right? Rumble Stadium, Mania Stadium, SummerSlam Stadium. Why do you think, sir? Is it because of the cold weather, or why do you think Survivor Series is not getting a stadium show yet? To me,
because they don't
Survivor
because they don't
Series,
run Survivor Series like they used to.
it does not feel like as big as it used to feel.
To me as well. It used to be, the entire card was different teams teaming up to take on each other, and it'd be elimination style matches, And now they sit there and be like, they'll sit there and have a one-on-one match and be like, can they survive this match? And that's well, there's Survivor Series. So he's trying to survive, and it's like, just go back to the original format. Just one time, give us one show where there's 6 matches on the cards, and it's just nothing but fucking tag matches. We can handle that. We're okay.
What do you
Well,
think,
I
Ben?
I, I still like the main event should still always be a War Chambers match, a War
War
Games
Game.
match, though.
So what do you think about? I mean, do you feel like it's still going to be just like in a smaller venue with 2 War Games matches? You think that's what
No,
Survivor Series Legacy is going to
I,
start being?
I don't know even know where Survivor Series is being held this year.
Me neither. Last
Like,
year was in Chicago in the Allstate Arena.
and that seats about 17,000.
Yeah. So
So I'd like to see them move to a stadium. They have indoor stadiums, so they have ways around all that. But it's becoming the big three now, if you ask me.
yeah, that's true. Um, anything else you want to kind of talk about for King of the Ring, or anything going on this week? SmackDown's tomorrow. Um, they had a
I
pretty
will
decent.
say this: thank God I recorded Raw, because if I had to sit through it live, I would not have made it through it because of the freaking commercials every 10 seconds.
Yeah,
The match
commercials
flow
are
is completely broken up. They need to figure something out about those damn commercials, man. There's really just way too many on a 3 hour broadcast.
6 months, man. 6 months will be on Netflix and everything will be all right.
Let's
Um,
hope so.
and then to this day, I still watch the 90-minute edition on Hulu, and I find Monday Night Raw just fine. um, yeah, it looks like the next time we might talk wrestling, we'll probably have like we'll talk the post match results, probably after Clash at the Castle. So anytime after June 15th. So I think, yeah, I think this is fun. I think we'll probably start doing some of these shows like this. Who knows? You might even see us just top up and pop up every now and again and talk about an anniversary pay per view or an older wrestling show, just if we have an itch.
We
So
might even have guests every now and then. We might even have some
there,
guests because we're both friends with independent wrestlers, so we can get those indie guys on here to talk about it, spruce up those ratings.
there we go. Um, but other than that, guys, don't forget Saturday, June 8th, 7 p.m. Come watch 300 with us to celebrate our 300th episode. Um, Saturday, June 8th at Rodeo Cinema. Uh, so check us out on the social media as well. Um, all of the stuff is on social media. So uh, other than that, Jay, I think we'll call it a day, man. King of the Ring was
All
fun.
right,
I can't wait till next time.
King and Queen.
King and Queen of the Ring. There you go. Until that, guys, don't forget, join us Saturday or Sunday, June 2nd, 51st date, 6 p.m. Another new episode of the Cinnamon Movie Podcast. Have a good
Can't wait to
week.
talk about that movie. Later, guys.